I read your jab, right hook.
Yes.
And you made some bold predictions that turn out to be like really right.
Yeah.
I know that you've never described them as predictions. You describe them as observations.
Yes.
Because you're really
Cutting
like
edge.
in the bleeding edge
Yep.
of the.
I can do it right now. Virtual influencers, social shopping, like it's all happening right now, but I'm so in it. I just see it earlier a lot of times than the 99%.
Yeah, you were actually a really big voice in my conscience because I missed the TikTok wave early in the day.
Yes.
But right now I'm really into the AI wave because I'm a software engineer and I made an AI version of myself.
Yes.
Which actually hosts one episode per month of this show.
Good for you.
And I think that's the future. What do you think about that?
Oh, 100%. I think humans are going to be the intellectual property owners of themselves, of other humans. There's so much coming. So much coming.
Yeah, I see that as me licensing my image.
100%.
To
it's all NIL.
Yeah.
It's all name, image, and likeness.
And I heard in your book that you also mentioned the mascot aspect of companies.
Yes.
AI is a form of a mascot for a human being.
100%. I think that's right. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be freaked out by it at first.
There's a lot of resistance.
A ton. Yeah. But there's resistance to electricity. You know that?
Sure.
When electricity was invented, most human beings around the world, especially in Latin America, by the way, said that there was demons inside of it.
Yeah.
And they'd rather have candles. And there was resistance to
writing, to radio, to television.
To everything. The number one thing I know is that humans will resist new technologies. It's what we do.
Yeah.
And for the small group of us that are the other way, there's great opportunity to create and build, and I enjoy that.
How do you think we should treat these virtual versions of ourselves? Talking about AI, should we see him like an extension of ourselves, or as another character that looks like us? Like, what's the?
I think the right way is yes, meaning both.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be all of the above. I should make a virtual dog and build up that profile. Why not? Yeah. I should have a version of myself, a variation of myself, me in girl form.
Yeah.
Why not?
You can actually pursue different careers.
100%. There's so much that's coming, and it's big stuff. It's crazy. It is definitely big stuff. Like, I don't view this next wave of AI and VR and virtual as some small little thing. It's big. And that will come with societal anxiety and new norms. There are people in Japan in full-fledged relationships with Vtubers.
Yeah.
Literally dating people that are virtual.
That's crazy.
But that being crazy is no different than many things that have happened through the history of humans. It was crazy to live to 100. It was crazy to date someone from the opposite sex. It was crazy to date someone from the opposite religion. It was crazy to not have children. It was crazy to not get married. It was crazy to get married if you go further back. Everything's crazy until it's not.
Yeah, but I think AI, it's a different kind of crazy. Like it's
but that's what everybody says.
Yeah, it's the same speech that
when somebody said, when the version of me said, no, we're all going to take airplanes, and the other person said that's a different level of crazy. Yeah. I would say, well, that's what they said when we did boats. People never left their land and took to the water, but then if somebody invented the boat, and they did, and then the plane. I get it. Marrying a computer sounds weird to everyone right now, or to marry code, but I do not believe that will be weird in 500 years. I don't.
Yeah.
And that's just that. Because I promise you, if a caveman was reincarnated right now and walked in here, he would struggle.
Yeah.
Like a lot's fucking happened.
But a guy from the 1950s will struggle. Like,
that's right.
Like the exponential progress in the last 30 years has been insane.
That's right.
We've turned from linear to exponential. Would you agree on that?
100%. But we've done that before in different ways. Yes, you're right, especially if you look at the math. But I will say this. The train, the television, the telephone, the automobile, the phone, these are electricity, these are monster. I promise you. before there was cars, it's just not that long ago. Not that long ago. People were all over the city on horses.
Yeah.
Not that long ago, brother. So, not that long ago, someone like me, being in New York, would never comprehend going to Baja California, Mexico, and drinking wine.
Yeah.
Didn't even know it existed. So the world is getting smaller. Technology is bringing us closer together, making us go further apart. It's always doing the same shit. What's going on right now that's interesting is people are not choosing optimism. What's going on right now is that everyone's scared because politicians are being very effective in scaring people. And fear controls people.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, if you think about, for example, making your way from New York to LA a couple of 100 years ago, that would take months, and some people would die in the process.
100
right
years
now,
ago.
You could take
100 years ago.
Yeah.
Not even a couple. 100 years ago. 1924.
But do you think there's a point in this technological evolution that we're not really gonna understand the implications of what we discover?
Sure.
Because, for example, right now we have big data, we have all this.
What about the atomic bomb?
Yeah.
And there was a bomb created by human beings that killed an ungodly amount of people in Japan. It's terrible, horrific. The gun. Somebody invented it. Like, if you go far back enough, why does anyone get killed by anyone?
Sure.
Right? But they killed him with a stick if it wasn't a gun, and there was a knife. And of course. Do I think that we're going to create robots that may kill people? Sure, might happen. It's real life. I just don't fear because I am optimistic about human beings because human beings have proven for thousands and thousands of years that we adjust. This doomsday, it's over. Social media, robots, AI, I don't know. Because I promise you, if the four of us were having dinner in 1950, after the atomic bomb was invented, I don't know if any of us would have believed that for the next 74 years, nobody would use one.
Yeah.
After it was just used. I think the most underrated thing in the world is the human spirit.
Yeah, and I agree because there's like these human tendencies that don't necessarily repeat over the years, but are continuously present. Like, for example, in the book, you talk about collectibles.
Yes.
That are coming back from the 80s, from the 70s,
Yes.
from the 50s, from the 60s.
Yes.
History maybe does not repeat itself, but it kind of rhymes. Like,
Yes.
this is like a radio show in
That's
a way.
right.
And
That's exactly right.
So
very well said.
There's going to be some elements of the human nature that are going to transcend these new tools, and we're still going to be necessary. I'm an optimist as well in this sense. But I think this new technology, there's biotechnology, there's big data. What's going to happen when all these things intersect? Like, are we going to...
What's going to happen when four things that you and I couldn't dream of get invented in the next 10, 20 years? I mean, let me ask you a question. Do you think that people are going to live outside Earth?
I don't know. It's an interesting question because I think there's two ways about thinking it. Like,
forget about that. Just
Yeah.
for fun. Just when you and I are hanging out in heaven in 400 years.
We're going to be having a podcast.
Yeah, and when I walk by you and be like, hey,
Yeah.
remember in 2024 when we were alive? Do you believe in 400 years people live outside of Earth?
I think the metaverse makes a really interesting argument against it because we're turning more sedentary than ever. So we may create something virtually that substitutes the necessity humans have of exploring. So I don't know, because there's this, like, for example, do you know what the Fermi paradox is? The Fermi paradox is this question about if there has been so much time in the universe and there has been a lot of time for an intelligent species to develop and to explore the universe, where are they? Like, if there's aliens, where are they? And there's this hypothesis called transcension that it actually says that intelligent species eventually evolve so much that they surpass the necessity to travel space because they create their own reality.
Makes
I
sense.
think we're seeing that in the metaverse. So we're definitely going to live like in a different form and even in a different space.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a space that we created, which is kind of interesting.
I think all of that is valid.
Like, for example,
But before you move on,
yeah, like
when I see you in heaven in 400 years,
yeah,
do you subjectively, I don't expect you to know.
Yeah.
Nobody who's listening knows. It's just a simple question. As you sit here today as a young man, in this moment of your life, not to be historically correct or not, because good news will be dead, but do you believe in 400 years that human beings that live on Earth today, will evolve to a place where our great-great-great-grandchildren live on a planet outside of Earth? Do you think?
If we find a really attractive planet that it's viable, I think we would, yeah.
Do you think we have the capacity to alter or create ways to be on those planets where it is viable? Because I think we're educated enough that there's things as humans right now, like it's too cold, it's too hot, do you think we will have the capacity to alter it?
Yeah, I think so.
Me too. And that's it.
Yeah.
Like that was it. That's the whole thing for me on this subject.
Yeah.
Like I think you affirmed your actual in-depth optimism there.
Yeah, sure.
This concept that I sit here today and I know everything that the human species is capable of over the next 400 years, in a world where we just invented the internet recently, in a world where we invented electricity, in a world where we invented dams. Like, why on earth are humans not capable of continuing to grow out of necessity, potentially, environmentally,
sure,
or out of curiosity, exploring, which is our fucking gift?
Yeah.
Why on earth would we not figure it the fuck out? It seems too obvious to me on that than what most people think is the alternative. They're using the logic of what they know now. Yes, I understand right now it's not clear to you how we're going to go up to the moon and fucking chill. But it wasn't clear to people how they were going to leave their continent 500 years ago.